Yeah, meeting is now live streamed. Okay, I don't know. Um, it says setting up your meeting for Facebook Live, but okay, so if it tells us we're on there, I'll go with it. My name's Mandy, and I'm with COVID Recovery Iowa. And today I have with me Jordan, who's also with COVID Recovery Iowa, and she is a teacher. Where do you teach at? Can you say that? Are you
Yeah,
allowed?
I'm a I'm in the Des Moines schools, so I will be a third grade teacher next year. So
Very good.
yeah.
So she's been dedicating some time all year long with COVID Recovery Iowa, and has a little bit of extra time to dedicate to us, and to all Iowans this summer as she's sort of on break. So she's joining me here for this Facebook Live, and we're going to be talking about a book and an activity to go with the book. And I think I'll go ahead and share my screen and show you how to access our books for one. And as I do that, I'll just tell you a little bit. COVID Recovery Iowa is here because the pandemic and the derecho show were declared a disaster. And so with that, then there is funding available that the state can apply for and get to provide additional emotional support, counseling support, connection to resources in the event of a disaster, because oftentimes there's an increased need. So here we are, and so this is our YouTube page, and we have over 90 some books that we put on there with activities to go with them. There's storm-related books. If you have any kids out there that have storm-related anxiety or worries, there's some good books on there about that and activities to go with those. And then all of the books really can be taken in a direction where it supports emotional well-being. So the book that we're going to talk about today is Don't Need Friends, but I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about this one down here, How to Lose All Your Friends. So you find the book, you click on it, and it will actually start playing automatically. So I'm going to push pause. I think Annette, another coworker, reads this one. So you would hear her voice reading the story to you. And you can make it full screen, which is nice, so you can fully see all the pages. Of course, you can go and find these books at your library or order them. I don't even want to say where, but you can order them, of course, pretty easy. But the activity to get, so here's the description of the book. So this one, there's oftentimes a reason someone is grouchy. Sometimes even grouchy people, really all they need is a good friend. So that's kind of what this book is all about. And then you click on show more, and there's how you find the activity. So I think I'll stop share, and let's just talk about the book a little bit first. So don't need friends. There's a rat in the book, and this poor little rat's best buddy ends up moving out of, I think it's a dump ground,
The
right?
junkyard, I think.
Junkyard.
Yeah, something like that.
So his good buddy moves out of the junkyard, and then he's lonely. It's what it ends up being, but the little guy just can't come to terms with that. And because sometimes feeling lonely and being sad is a difficult feeling to kind of deal with. And sometimes it's easier to just kind of bristle up and get kind of grouchy and grumpy and be angry and annoyed, and instead of dealing with those sad feelings of being lonely and missing your friend. So then somebody new comes into the junkyard there then, and they have quite the interaction between the two of them for most of the story, and it's not very pleasant. So what do you remember from those interactions, Jordan, between the
Don't
rat?
talk to me. Don't talk to me. They're both very grouchy and didn't want to be friends. And as the book continues on, the rat sees the dog needs help
Yeah.
and he finds a really
He's
big sandwich.
Yes, and then they end up sharing the sandwich. And so it's all about like stay over there too, don't talk to me, like you said, trying to stay in their own space, but really they end up needing each other. So I think dog ends up not feeling so well, and rat shares him with him the sandwich that he found. But really rat needed a friend too. So that we've we've done a lot of social distancing and isolating ourselves. So we're not really great at that. That's not been really easy for a lot of us. Um, Maybe social interaction causes you some anxiety. So maybe it's been easier for some than others, but for the most part, humans really appreciate and kind of need that human interaction. So maybe we've gotten a little rusty at it over this past year, where we've kind of kept our distance from each other. Um, so the other book that is How to Lose All Your Friends is a good one, a good reminder of if you're feeling rusty with your friendship making, social interaction skills, this is a good book to kind of review those skills that it takes to have a good, successful interaction with somebody. Um, so the five things, if I'm not going to remember all five of them, but the first one really speaks to what this whole year has been about as far as wearing masks, because it talks about smiling at each other. And we
Mhm.
did get better at being able to tell if somebody's smiling with our eyes. But now masks are a little less frequently being seen, so you might be able to see people's smiles a little bit more often, which is nice. But smiling, if you smile at somebody, it means you're engaging with them and it might make them smile back at you, right? So that's a good way to make a friend, is to smile. Start with that. It's a real simple, easy one to try out. It talks about sharing is one of them, or to lose friends, it would say don't share. So it says don't share your cookies is what it talks about in the book. And I was telling Jordan that we haven't been good sharers this whole last year either, because we've been trying to keep germs at bay. So even though your friend might have forgot their markers at home, chances are the teacher didn't say share because we were trying to keep germs contained a little bit more. So maybe sharing wasn't as encouraged as much this last year as it would have been in years past. So, but even though we were laughing about taking a bite of a cookie and then sharing it with your friend might not still not be a good idea. Maybe it never will be a good idea. But you could share your cookies that don't have your germs on them. I think we're to that point where sharing is getting to be a little bit more okay now with the pandemic. So sharing, don't be a bully. Being a good sport is another thing it mentions in the book. But the activity to go with the don't need friends, I'll share my screen again in a little bit to show you some things you could do. Say you had a neighbor who was grouchy, or a friend who was grouchy, or even a family member. Okay, so maybe your mom's not having a great day. All right, it happens to all moms. Okay, you could do something nice for your mom or your grandma or your neighbor.
Mhm.
Um, but so one of the things is to make a card for them. One idea is to make a card and drop that off for them. Another one is to make something for them. And we have some cool videos on our YouTube channel that Anna has made about like making a cookie in a mug or a cake in a mug. And especially if it was your neighbor, you could make it in your microwave and then take it over to your neighbor and may well get your mug back if you needed it back. So the card, let's see what you got, Jordan.
So I made a little card here. It's just a window card. If you open it up, I didn't get to finish it yet, but we have our friend, or it could be you that's sitting in the window. Hey, how's it going? And then I tried to do like a letter format. So I just folded up a notebook piece of paper, wrote a little message to them, and then I could give it to them. And that'd be a way to open up conversation and connect with somebody that you haven't for so long.
So many different ways to make a card, no right or wrong way. And they can be expensive at the store. If you don't want to make your own card and you can afford to go buy one, go for it. But I mean, again, I'm all about the scrap paper around the house. The little window thing is there's so many different ways you can do that too, but just kind of fancies it up and it's so easy.
Mhm.
Poke a little hole and cut out that little window, and then you can tell there's something on the inside of mine, but until you open it, which is kind of fun, makes it interesting.
Yeah,
I like the
yeah.
letter format. You can put all kinds of information in there. And you said hey on the front of it. I mean, that's the cool thing is like, it doesn't have to be for a reason. Just make somebody a card. Just try and brighten their day. I like that part. I think it's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and homemade cards are definitely the best.
Yeah. It gives you something to do. It's kind of drizzly here today, so a good thing to do on a rainy day with your kids.
Yeah.
Just give them some art supplies and have them have at it. And then delivering that card, if you're still needing to keep your distance, you can drop it off on their doorstep, tuck it in their front door. You can mail it. Then you get an envelope and put a stamp on it, and you can mail it too. But I think, yeah, brighten somebody's day.
Mhm.
Got a
Mm,
comment here. I can see them today. So fun card idea,
good.
Jordan. Homemade cards are the best, says Kelly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then speaking of that, Jordan's card, just so that you can see the example of one, she put it on our Padlet, uh, our virtual art gallery. If you want to go check that out, I'll put the link in there in the comment section after we're done here today so that you can see her example. So yeah. So then you were going to add something, I think, and I will share my screen again if you had another thought to add. Maybe you
Yeah, I would just say, when you're making those cards, it doesn't have to be fancy. You can just do it could be a simple folded paper, especially it could be just because. It doesn't have to be, anything special, just because that positive thing will brighten someone's day and leave it on your mom's pillow or put it some surprise in the cupboard or somewhere just to, that pleasant surprise to have, especially after those hard days. It's good to have
yeah.
them.
It's good. I think sometimes it's easy for us to, if somebody else is grouchy, to just kind of fall in step and get in
Mhm.
that grumpy mood ourselves. And this is a good way to
Yeah,
turn things around.
yeah. Coloring is relaxing anyway, so it might calm you down before you go give that nice card to someone.
Absolutely. Fill your whole page up with color and then make a card. Like you can just have at it. You don't even have to have a great plan. It'll develop itself into something great. So here are, oh, so banana bread mug cake is one example. Banana oat muffins. Do you think I should open those? How can you see those okay, Jordan, or
Yeah, yeah.
would it be
It
better?
seems
Okay.
seems pretty good on
Cookie
my
in a
end.
mug. Okay.
Warm
Open
cookie
one.
fresh out of the microwave for your neighbor. That would be wonderful.
Right? Yeah. See if you know what? I'll play just we're right at 10:15. I'll play a second of it.
Yeah.
They're really short little videos that I mean less than 30, well, this one's 52 seconds, but 52 seconds. And then voila, she'll have a cookie in a mug that you could share with somebody. And you know what? Here's another mom thing is is the nice thing is that, it's not a whole kitchen sink full of dishes.
Yes. Yes.
That's probably anything, anyone thing is to not end up with a ton of dishes, but
Love it.
it's cool, I think.
Looks good.
All right, any other questions? Did we cover all we meant to cover today? Just the idea of we do need friends for the most part. Most people really do need that social interaction. And if you're feeling rusty, not sure how to jump back into things, there's actually a name for that, re-entry anxiety. Getting back into that social swing of things is going to be a challenge for some of us. And if you're struggling with that, you can reach out to covidrecoveryiowa.org, and we'd be happy to help you walk through that re-engagement process, give you some ideas, and at least someone for you to talk to, someone to bounce your ideas off of, somebody that's maybe not in your inner circle, just to give you kind of that someone to a sounding board, to
Mm.
listen to what you're thinking. That's what we're here for. So thanks for joining, Jordan. It was nice to
Yeah,
have you on
yeah.
here.
It was good.
Good. Yeah. Let me one more check of any questions or comments. Oh, yeah, one more comment. Fun to give and receive cards and gifts too, as well as make them. Absolutely. I think it'll do everyone just as much good to create that as be the on the receiving end of it. It's nice to do those random acts of kindness really can do a lot to boost your mood. So,
For sure.
all right. Take care,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks, Jordan.
Bye.